Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I hope that you are having an awesome morning. I hope that you are waking up this morning with vigor, with energy, that you're motivated to get out today and get the work done. So I am coming to you live again this morning for another episode of Coffee and C-Suite Conversations, and I'm coming to you live from sunny Atlanta, Georgia. So, for those of you who are joining me this morning, thank you. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in every Wednesday when I come on to just give some tips about leadership. For those of you who are catching the replay, then please just put hashtag replay in the comments so that I know that you're watching. Also, so that I can come back on and I can answer any questions and also engage with you in the comments as well. I always like coming back, engaging with you in the comments. So just leave me anything you want. If you want to leave me likes, hearts, comments about the episode that we're going to talk about today, questions that you may have. If you feel that this topic that I'm going to share with you in a second would be helpful to others, then please share the video. If you like the video, then please like the video as well. Just let me know, if the content is speaking to you this morning. So again, thank you for joining me. I hope that where you are watching from, that you're having great weather. I hope that your day is off to a great start as well. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Lisa Herbert. I'm a board-certified family physician, best-selling author, speaker, and executive leadership coach. And I help physicians transition into leadership roles so that they can become the respected voice in healthcare. Through my coaching programs, trainings, workshops, and books, I help physicians develop both personally and professionally so that they can become the healthcare leaders of tomorrow. So for those of you, again, who are joining me, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Good morning, Dr. Mashika. Thank you for joining this morning. So my topic today is it really imposter syndrome or is it the isms of society? So I really wanted to talk about this topic today because I see a lot of that in my clients, that I coach. This feeling of imposter syndrome. And we really, talk through that and try to define what it is, where it's coming from, and have a better understanding of it so that we can make sure that we are moving forward in our goals and we are making sure that we're advancing professionally and also personally as well. So I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome, what it is, what it isn't, some of the factors maybe behind it that's also causing imposter syndrome, and to maybe get into a little conversation, especially during these times that we're dealing with right now, where racism is such a huge topic that we're talking about. It's been present for years, but it's a topic obviously that we're talking about a lot. To see how that even has a role in imposter syndrome as well. So I really wanted to talk about that this morning, hopefully get your input and your feedback, and hopefully give you some information that's going to be helpful moving forward. So good morning, Dr. Ken, and good morning, Dr. Linda. Thank you for joining. So again, we're talking today about imposter syndrome. Is it really imposter syndrome or is it the isms of society? So first, let's just talk about imposter syndrome, right, and what it is. Because like I said, it's so common. It comes up a lot, during coaching sessions. So I wanted to make sure that I talk about it. So imposter syndrome really is that psychological thought pattern that you have about where you are in terms of your success. So it's a psychological thought pattern that the only reason why you are where you are is because of luck. Sure luck. It just has to happen that way. It has nothing to do with your accomplishments. It has nothing to do with your education or anything that you have achieved, but that you are where you are sheerly because of luck. The other thought pattern that comes up is that people who have imposter syndrome actually feel like they're a fraud. They feel like they're not supposed to be where they are. And for some reason that they got to, again, where they are out of sheer luck and not because of, again, their accomplishments. People who also have imposter syndrome, they can't even accept the fact that they have achieved what they've achieved. They can't accept their wins. They can't accept their successes. And again, they have this psychological, internal, almost devaluing of who they are and where they are in terms of their achievements. So obviously, this is a big deal when it comes to, you know, trying to get a promotion or advancing professionally, but also advancing personally as well. You know, imposter syndrome can really, really hold you back. So we also know that imposter syndrome is more common in women, right? So it can affect men as well, but it's definitely more common in women. And again, you know, these feelings of imposter syndrome are not good because it can delay, derail, you know, your advancement. It can prevent you from going into a leadership role or seeking a leadership position. It can cause poor performance. And again, just a lack of advancement and a lack of promotion because of this psychologically negative thought pattern that I'm only here because of luck and not really because of anything else. And I'm feeling as if I'm a fraud. So that's really the basis of imposter syndrome. And again, like I said, it affects women more than it affects men. So I want to talk about next what maybe might be some personality types that would sort of take on this whole imposter syndrome complex. So the first type is, or are those people who feel like everything has to be perfect, right? And if I make one mistake, then I'm going to be found out as a fraud, right? So everything has to be perfect. And if I don't get it 99% right, then I'm a fraud. You know, I obviously don't know what I'm talking about and I don't know what I'm doing just because, you know, I can't get it 100% right. So that's one personality type. Another personality type is, especially for women, is this superwoman. You know, the ones who walk around with the S on their chest, who really feel like they have to succeed in all areas of their lives, and if they mess up in one area, then, you know, again, they're a fraud and they can't really accept the fact that they are where they are because of their achievements. So the superwoman complex is another personality type that really, really takes on sometimes this imposter syndrome. Another personality type is those who feel like they naturally have gifts and talents, you know, like they know it all. Most of the time they have the answers, basically. But that one time that they don't have the answer, or that one time that they're challenged, they feel as if, again, they're a fraud. Like, I didn't really get here, you know, out of my achievements because I just don't have the answer to this one thing. So that's another personality type. And then there's the personality type of those who just have to be an expert in everything, right? So they can't even apply for a job because they don't have 100% of the qualifications, right? So they feel like they have to be an expert in everything. They have to have the right answer, the correct answer for everything. So those are just some basic personality types sometimes that may, you know, take on that imposter syndrome. But I wanted to look at today maybe some outside factors that might be leading to imposter syndrome, so that it's not really that internal feeling or that internal, you know, beating up of yourself, but really what's going on in your environment, what's going on in your workplace, and what may be going on in society that may be causing you to actually play into this imposter syndrome. So I'm just going to look at some comments. Good morning, Dr. Sinol. And Dr. Ken says, mental blockades, I agree, we need to get out of our own way most of the time. The all or none approach can be challenging to overcome. Yes, absolutely. The all or none approach can be very challenging to overcome. So again, I want to talk about the external factors that may be playing into imposter syndrome, right? And those are the isms of society. So especially for women, and more so for women of color, it's the sexism and it's racism, right? They may be playing into the feeling of that maybe I have imposter syndrome, when it really isn't an internal thing, but again, it's external factors. It's that feeling of not belonging, right? So again, so for women, especially for women of color, if you are in a room with all men, if you're in a room with maybe all white males, then of course there's this feeling, right, of not belonging. Like, why am I here? So you start to doubt yourself. You start to really lose confidence, which is different, so different from imposter syndrome, right? It's that feeling of not belonging because of external factors, but not because of that's how you feel really internally, but it's how you're made to feel. It's how you're made to feel. So that feeling of not belonging. Also, for some women and women of color, you're actually treated in that manner as well. So maybe you're looked over for promotions. Maybe you're not heard at the table when you're in board meetings. Maybe you're being ignored. Um, Maybe again, there's these microaggressions that are going on in the workplace, all of which can really cause you to lose your confidence and then maybe feel as if you have imposter syndrome. But again, it's the external factors, it's how you're being treated, it's how you're being felt, or how you're feeling rather, that's causing those feelings. And then also, maybe you're just being told. Maybe you're just being told that you're not good enough, right? Maybe you're just being told that you shouldn't be here. Maybe you're being told that you're only here because of, you know, XYZ. So those things can really play into your psyche. Those things can really cause your confidence to wane, and it can make you feel as if maybe you have imposter syndrome. But again, there's a huge difference between the internal feeling of imposter syndrome and what's being actually told to you, how you're being treated, how you're being made to feel in terms of your confidence and in terms of why you should be where you are. So I wanted to really talk about that just to make sure that, we're really clear about what we're feeling and what we're experiencing, especially when it starts to hamper your ability to move forward and advance, when it starts to hamper your ability to, perform at a high level, that you really look at what's causing the feelings that you're having. Is it an internal thing that you really have to work through? Or is it some external factors that may be leading to those feelings? And then what are some of the things that you can do about that? So the first thing I think that has to be done in those instances, um, I don't think it really relies on the person per se. It relies on the environment. What are we going to do as organizations? What are we going to do as coworkers to really help to diminish those isms that might be causing imposter syndrome in some people? So what are we going to do as organizations? Are we really going to be serious about diversity and inclusion and what that really means and taking action on it and not just making a blanket statement? Are we as coworkers going to help to support, those people in the workplace, those women and women of color, people of color who may feel like they're outsiders because of, again, those external factors? So we really have to look at, what we can do, I think, as an organization, as people, and as a society. Then as an individual, some of the things that you can do to sort of help with those feelings. The first thing is to really just stop the negative replay in your mind. Have a mindset shift, have a different script of things that you're telling yourself about why you are where you are. And make sure that when those feelings of imposter syndrome come up, that you stop yourself from those negative thoughts and you start to really develop a different talk to yourself and a different script. So that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is that if it really is starting to, wane on you and is starting to prevent you from advancing, is to make sure that you seek out a mentor who could be really supportive of you during this time. And also maybe seek out a coach who can help you to just foster through those fears or look at those fears and really look at them for what they are. The third thing that you could do is just to make sure that every day that you are celebrating your wins. So make sure that you are writing them down, maybe to yourself, that you're saying them out loud, that you're keeping a tick file somewhere of all of the things that you have accomplished as a reminder of it not really being sheer luck, but really is based on the hard work and determination that you've put in to get yourself to where you are today. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is it really imposter syndrome, or is it the isms of society? I wanted to make sure that as women of color, and as people of color, that we really look at what we're experiencing and what we're feeling when we start to feel this lack of confidence, or we start to feel like, why are we here? What's really causing those feelings? And to really look at them and to make sure that that we know where it's coming from, and that we really start to work on those things. So I hope the information today was helpful. I hope that you guys really have a better understanding of imposter syndrome. I mean, there's so much more I could talk about it, but I just wanted to really talk about some of the basics in terms of what it is, and maybe look at, again, just some of the external factors that might be causing it. If you have any questions, or you have any comments on this topic or anything else, then just please leave them for me in the comments, and I'll make sure to come back and answer them. And as always, thank you for joining me again early in the morning for another episode of Coffee and C-Suite Conversations. And my name, again, is Dr. Lisa Herbert. I'm a board-certified family physician, best-selling author, speaker, and executive leadership coach. And I help physicians transition into leadership roles so that they can become the respected voice in healthcare.